Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Out the Podcast, the most fantastic podcast for you. I did it. I brought it home. My name is Johananon. I'm the board game guru, game master extraordinaire, and the most handsome man in my house right now.
And I'm the professional media and movie mastermind, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen, where we're taking our first steps into episode 157, the most fantastic of numbers, of course. And we've got a lot to catch up on this week. We didn't record last week. It feels like it's only been 2 weeks since we recorded, but it feels like it's been a month for some reason. I think that's just because there's been a lot of content and things.
That's happened, yeah.
And also for me, I finished. We'll get to this in Fresh Games. I know I'm jumping ahead, but I completed Donkey Kong Bonanza. I am done into playing that game beforehand. Has now been spent doing other stuff. So it's like all of a sudden I have all these different things to talk about because I actually had a chance to watch stuff now.
That's fair.
It's amazing how when you get hooked on a game that you put all of your time and energy into, how much you miss, and then when all that time is cleared up, you can actually do some stuff. When you have a podcast where you talk about stuff that you've, taken part in.
We do have a podcast, and that makes us special, and it makes our opinions matter.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Our opinions matter.
They matter. Don't tell me they don't.
This is always, for me, as a big moviegoer, this is always kind of a weird time of year, like a transition time of year, because the summer blockbuster season is always like kind of end of April, beginning of May until pretty much till August. That's when all the big tentpole blockbusters come out, and then it kind of starts to wind down in August. As an example, we had Superman and Fantastic Four in July, and then the first weekend of August we had, The Bad Guys 2 and the Naked Gun remake, or reboot, I should say, which, are like anticipated movies for some people, but not like to the degree of Superman or Fantastic Four. And then this weekend upcoming, we've got Freakier Friday, the long anticipated sequel to the Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis Freaky Friday from 2003, and Weapons, the new Zach Cregger horror movie, the director of Barbarian, which I'm actually really, really excited about.
Bro,
more excited about than really a lot of good. I'm more excited about that than I was for most of the summer movies, but it's just like we're taking it down a notch, basically, in the scale of some of these movies. August and September are usually a little slower going till we really get into the festival season and the award season. So I was just kind of thinking, like, as the summer has wound down, there's always these podcasts about, like, what are you most anticipating of the summer? Is it Lilo and Stitch, or How to Train Your Dragon, or Fantastic Four, Superman? And now it's all kind of in the rear view, and I think some of the stuff really made an impact at the box office, but also culturally, but some of it didn't. And so I was just kind of curious, like your takeaways. Summer is oftentimes too like not a very good place for TV. Like not as much is released over the summer from a prestige TV standpoint. So there might be a little bit less on that front. But still, I'm not looking for you to like rank anything or give your top fives. But I'm just kind of curious as we exit the summer season, like what left an impression on you?
Do just everything, or do you want me to start with like movies or something?
I would start with movies. I mean, kind of everything, but we can start with movies if we want to keep it like
Man,
a little bit more organized.
sometimes it's hard for me to remember what actually happened this year. But Fantastic Four and Superman, definitely some of the biggest movies this year. Thunderbolts was also good. Those left an impression. Some decent superhero movies in a time when everyone's sick of superhero movies and nothing good's coming out. Uh,
Right.
so like it was nice to see that. It looks like they're kind of correcting course on some of this stuff. They're getting the right people in charge. TV's been solid. A lot of it for animation. I've really been enjoying. I finished the new season of Rick and Morty. Solid
Mm-hmm.
season all the way through. Invincible, the most recent season of Invincible came out this year. Also fantastic. Um, and then like I haven't seen Wednesday yet, but I'm excited for season two. And then Twisted Metal, another show that I loved a year or two ago, whenever it came out. Back with season two, and I'm enjoying that as well. So I mean, there's lots of stuff. This year's been good, pretty much across the board for me. Games. This has been an amazing year about games. We've talked about it a lot. Switch 2 came out this year. Um,
It
you
has
know,
been a good summer for games
it's been a
in that
good
way.
summer for games. Between Donkey Kong Bonanza, Expedition 33, Doom Dark Ages, they're just dropping hit after hit after hit after hit. And it's been keeping me pretty busy. I feel
Yeah.
like there's been a few stinkers that I can't really think of off the top of my head right now. In the game world for sure. It's just sometimes it's hit or miss, but games have also been solid. So like across the board, I've been happy this year with all my media consumption.
Yeah. I think some key takeaways for me is like looking at Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, right? We had two Marvel movies come out this summer, and both of them were like pretty well reviewed. But Fantastic Four is doing good business at the box office, but it's not doing like 2019 MCU business, right? Like, I think that people wanted it to be like the savior of the MCU, which is kind of a lot to put on that movie's shoulders. But like, basically, that movie is probably going to make like $600 million total at the box office worldwide. And it just kind of feels like it's not even an indictment on the movie itself or a commentary on the quality of it or anything like that. It just kind of feels like whether it's burnout, whether it's COVID, whatever it is, just gone are the days of these movies, at least for now, of these movies making like a consistent 800 million to $1 billion at the box office. Like that's just not a thing
Yeah.
anymore. I don't know. I know that Avengers next year and Spider like we don't get another MCU movie for a year until the next Spider-Man movie comes out in July, and then Doomsday's in the fall or in the winter. And I think those movies will both do great business. It's Spider-Man and Avengers. They're the two biggest and most highest grossing Marvel franchises within it. So I think those will be fine. But in hindsight, it seems like anybody that thought the Fantastic Four movie was going to make $1 billion was probably just wrong from the get go, no matter how good it potentially is. Um, so I think that's an interesting takeaway that we're just kind of in like superhero fatigue zone where these movies are always going to have an audience and do well, but like outside, the more casual audience is going to be a little bit more picky with them.
Yeah.
A big takeaway for me is just how much I'm looking forward to the future of the DC slate more
Yeah.
than I was after Superman. I'm surprised that the only $1 billion grosser of the year so far, well, not the only one, because we can get into we've talked about Ne Zha 2 before, the Chinese film.
Yeah.
But, Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion, and I would have never predicted that. Minecraft almost got there, but not quite. It's like in the 900 million range, but Lilo and Stitch made it there, and I just would have never thought, because that's not one of my Disney movies.
Yeah.
No, not one I was itching to watch a live action adaptation of. Let's see. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Like, some of the movies, like How to Train Your Dragon, did okay business. It feels like it kind of came and went. Your Megans didn't do very well. F1 has done surprisingly well and has become Brad Pitt's like highest grossing movie ever. So that's kind of interesting.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Let's see. Pixar's continuing to stumble a little bit. Elio didn't do much business. The Return of Adam Sandler on Netflix. So there's a lot of stuff to get into that we'll actually kind of address in some of our fresh movies. But I think for me, my personal winner of the summer season was probably Superman. No, I take it back. It was Donkey Kong Bonanza. But from a movie standpoint, it was Superman.
I mean, that's fair. Superman was really good. I am looking forward to talking about Fantastic Four.
Let's do it. I mean, it sounds like this is a big movie. It's been out for a little over a week now, a week and a half, and we haven't really had a chance to talk about it yet. And that can be part of the main discussion here, and as well as the start of fresh movies. But let's talk about it, because I want to hear. You told me before we even started recording that you had a lot to say, or that you were eager to talk about it. So let's do it. And I say we can have a pretty free, open conversation here at this point.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's been long enough. We'll talk some spoilers, but I feel like this movie's hard to spoil, really. It's not like there's not a lot of twists and turns.
Yes. Agreed.
It's pretty straightforward. Fantastic Four, really good movie. I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four guy. I've never been the biggest fan. The movies have never been that great. They're a cool concept. I like, they're one of the more iconic teams, period, in Marvel.
Marvel's first family, as they're known.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they're pretty big. They're Marvel royalty, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Never been a big fan. This movie looked really good. It looked really interesting, and then finally I got to see it. And I was blown away, man. I was blown away by this movie. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. It was very stylistic. It had a really cool style to it. It had, I don't know. I really don't want to sound pretentious. It seemed like it had a good sense of self. Like, the movie knew what it was. It knew what it was doing. They weren't trying to cram comic books into a movie reel. They just let them be. They let them be weird, outlandish comics. I feel like, maybe a little bit of what makes James Gunn so good at this kind of stuff is that he understands that wackiness and comic books go hand in hand every time. Because on the face of it, I mean, they are ridiculous. When you really get down to it, you got characters like Mole Man, or the Tinkerer, just silly stuff going on. And that's what has always made James Gunn so successful, is that he accepts that. He makes those obscure characters pop, all that good stuff. This movie, they accept that this is a comic book world that's over the top. You know what I mean? You have these four people that are pretty much like put on a pedestal globally. Sue Storm is part of government. The Future Foundation kind of is like the UN in this world. Like, it's huge, man. It's like they're the biggest thing ever in this world. And it's really cool. They ran with it. I was really surprised with like the level of acting in this. I feel like everyone did a really good job. Pedro Pascal kills it. Absolutely kills it as Reed Richards. Just, I don't know, like, he's very believable. He's very sympathetic. He's troubled. He gets the whole thing down. I was worried that Johnny Storm, is it Johnny Storm, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I was worried Johnny Storm was going to be annoying like he always is in these movies, and like a dumbass. Like I thought he was going to be an annoying dumbass, and he was just like he just kind of messed with the thing. He wasn't like obnoxious. All four of them, the thing that really surprised me, all four of them, when it comes to their powers, they seemed very secondary. You know what I mean? Like they were characters first. They were scientists first. You know what I mean? Like the most amazing thing about all four of them isn't really their superpowers. They're very smart, capable people, and I thought watching them overcome their challenges because they were such well developed characters in this movie was really good. I think I actually like this movie better than Superman, which surprised me a lot. Um, I think this movie could easily stand shoulder to shoulder with pre Endgame MCU films. Like it's really good. Galactus was not a corny weirdo. Like he made sense. You know what I mean? Like they did Galactus well. Galactus is a hard thing to do well. He's a weird concept, but I feel like they made him work. Silver Surfer was awesome. She was a very interesting character. You know what I mean? Like between why she signed up to be the Herald, all this stuff. The character had layers, and you don't always get that in these movies. But from start to finish, man, I think this movie was fantastic. And I don't know, they didn't side road Sue Storm. She was pretty much the whole time one of the most impressive characters. When she gives her speech to the angry mob, that was a very good moment. And then during the battle with Galactus, I don't think I need to tell you that was sick. That was pretty cool. And then the whole thing with the fifth member of the Fantastic Four. I don't know. It honestly that might be part of why I'm so high on this. It's very timely in my life. I have a newborn, and so I don't know. This felt personal, I guess. Like I really connected with this movie. Um, and like every time like there's something was wrong with the baby, I was like, oh fuck, like it really got to me. I don't know. This movie 9 out of 10 easy for me. Like this is one of my favorite MCU films immediately. I didn't expect it. Like I didn't think I was gonna like. I thought it was gonna be fine, but instead it was fantastic. So, what were your thoughts?
Well, Jahan, I'm here to shit right in your cereal.
Yes.
Not really. I'm exaggerating. The way you thought you would feel about it is about how I felt. Like I walked out of this thinking it was fine. There's a lot about it I did like a lot. I think the main things for me to kind of again take a step back. I've said this a lot on this podcast before, but I'm going to say it again just for emphasis. Earlier in the summer, I was like interested to see what Superman had to offer, but I was much more excited about the Fantastic Four. I have collected comics for years and years. I always was kind of a big fan of Fantastic Four, and even in the comics, they've had stretches of great writers behind it and like some really fascinating, great stories. And in Fantastic Four, it's also a difficult team comic that can enter a rut at times. But when they're doing fun cosmic stuff, I think the Fantastic Four can be amongst the best that Marvel has to offer. So I think that it's an interesting team. They've had a rough go of it as far as in the media on the big screen. I know that a lot of people our age have some nostalgia for the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies from like the 2005 one. Obviously the Josh Trank one was a huge failure back in 2015, but like this felt like they're gonna get it all right. And I thought it was fine. I think that I do really like the retro futuristic style of everything. I thought that all like worked really well. I still somehow found a lot of the movie to just look incredibly bland despite all of that. So maybe that's me.
Maybe I thought it looked cool, man. I thought it would look really like it gave me like Watchmen like vibes. Like it had that retro. It had that retro comic look. I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
I do feel like I hate to invoke him on the podcast,
Yes.
Jahan. I'm sorry.
Invoke.
I'm sorry in advance. Zach, our friend
Oh,
Zach.
gross. Don't say Zach.
I know Zach made me way more mad than it should have. Like I can't explain it why, but like after he saw Superman, he was just like meh, and
Ugh.
I was just like,
Ugh, wrong.
I know, and I
Incorrect.
loved Superman,
I loved Superman too.
and I was already mad at him for that. And then he comes in and he's like, Fantastic Four was amazing. Like he kind of same thing. Like he was really high on it, and I was just like, this motherfucker, you know. But Zach, he had been saying for a long time from the moment that Pedro Pascal was cast as Reed Richards, Zach was not on board for that. And he was like, no, I do not see him as Reed Richards. I do not like that casting. Like, I think he was optimistic to it, but he just did not like it. And I was defending it a lot because I was like, oh, we need a big actor to be in this role who's like really kind of here and like a big deal in the here and now that can really help lead this next stage of the MCU. He was so present everywhere from like The Last of Us to Mandalorian to these franchises. Like, yeah, make him Reed Richards. This makes sense to me. So I was more defensive of that casting, and now having seen the movie, he's easily my least favorite of the casting of this core group, and I thought like I would go as far as to say potentially miscast in this role. He did a lot of things that I liked, but like easily my least favorite of this crew. I thought Vanessa Kirby was far and away the best of
She
the group.
she stole the show, man. She was amazing.
Yeah, I thought her Sue Storm was really good, and that's of these four characters. I mean, literally, one can light on fire, one's a big old rock man, and the woman that can turn invisible is always kind of the one that like gets is like the butt of the jokes most often, especially from like a largely male fan base of comic
Yes.
readers. And so the fact that this movie got her so right and the motherhood themes in it, I thought all of that really worked, and I thought her performance was very good, and I just thought she was probably the best of all of them.
I agree.
Joseph Quinn, who played Johnny Storm, like from what we've seen him in now, right? Like Stranger Things and things like he's had a big year, but things like
Stranger Things.
Quiet Place Day One,
Quiet
Gladiator
Place.
Two, a few other things.
He's also in
I
Game of
just feel
Thrones.
like who was he in Game of Thrones?
He was a nobody guard that wouldn't let Arya into Winterfell.
Interesting.
I think it was before Stranger Things.
Interesting.
Uh,
I mean, obviously, he's been in. I feel like there's a few things, like prominent things that I'm missing that he's been in.
I feel like you hit the good
he was
ones,
in
though.
Warfare. But still, regardless, I just he's just kind of doing his thing. Like he's being like Eddie from Stranger Things here, but as the Human Torch. And the Thing was surprisingly kind of soft spoken. I thought it was interesting, but I didn't dislike the performance. It just wasn't what I expected. I don't know.
I liked it a lot.
It's an interesting interpretation of the team. I had some issues of if I had to rank them, like I said, Pedro Pascal would be at the bottom of them, which is surprising considering how much I defended him beforehand. But yeah, Vanessa Kirby is the one that really surprised me. I'm just getting kind of some of the negativity out of the way for me.
I mean, honestly, I might agree with your rankings on the performances. I said Pedro Pascal killed it, but so did everyone else. And
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed him though in this role.
The other thing, I do think it's funny to make the joke too of like Pedro Pascal sure likes hanging out with babies that are in little pods that
He
float around. And
does.
stuff.
Yeah, he's everyone's daddy. It's funny.
Yep. So the baby. So I had the opposite experience as you with the baby too, and I think it's always difficult when you have a noticeably CGI baby. And
Yes.
obviously this movie and what all that they had to do with Franklin like required a CG baby. But like a lot of times when you have a giant CG rock monster holding a CG baby, it just makes it even more noticeable. I don't know. I never once felt like this baby was actually in peril. The just digital effects of it all I found to be kind of distracting at times, but also like it's not like I have a solution to it. So
Yes.
I don't like to. It's like any corporate job. They're like, don't present a problem without a solution, and that's what I'm doing here. Is like I'm saying I don't like this, but I don't know what else you do because you have to have this baby as this core plot device.
The baby was kind of funky looking. I'll give you that for sure.
Yeah, I just never actually felt like the baby was in peril. Now that being said, all that stuff out of the way. I did think that the Galactus stuff, I agree with you. I thought Galactus was done well. I love that he's presented as there's this giant being that's coming for our planet and he's going to eat our planet. And they don't need anything, like, they don't require any explanation further than that. It's like, okay, well, we got to stop him. Right? Like, they're not trying to feed you lore or give you the rules for how Galactus works or set it up for how he is in this world. Like, no, he's just a giant being that eats
Yeah.
planets, and that's it. You're just supposed to accept that. And comic readers have been accepting that for decades now. So, like, I'm glad that they didn't force it any more than that in the movies. Like, that's a big plus for me. That's comics to the core.
They just let him be him. Yeah, it was pretty good.
I absolutely loved this interpretation of Silver Surfer. I thought Julia Garner's look and feel here was great. I liked that they were able to give a lot of backstory and character to the Silver Surfer without feeling like you were taking away from the rest of the team. Like, she was able to get her own origin within, but you're not sitting there going like, why aren't you showing me more of Reed Richards or whatever? Like, no, I was interested in her stuff. I wanted to see it.
Yeah, I liked her and Johnny's thing. I thought that was fun.
Yes, I agree, and I like that it showcased that. Again, all four of these characters went to space. Like, they're all extremely smart. Even Ben Grimm, who's kind of known as like the muscle of the group, is a scientist in his own right, or has scientific skills. So I liked that Johnny. Yeah, a pilot, sure, but he's piloting spaceships, so that requires something.
That was pretty cool.
And even Johnny has to use his mind. He's not just a hotshot. So I liked that part of it all, and I do think that a lot of times that Marvel movies have the third act is almost like the least important part of the movie. It's a lot of the build, and then sometimes the third act's like meh, or it's hit and miss, and I thought this movie was saved by its third act. I thought that the stuff with Galactus and the ending was actually pretty good, was like high points of the movie. Despite how silly some of it is, I liked it all, and I liked that from what we see here, Sue Storm is clearly the strongest of the group as far as her power set, which is canon with the comics. Like, they've done a lot of stuff in the comics to demonstrate how strong her power set really is. Of course, beyond like just making force fields and turning invisible. Sue Storm is there's a lot of untapped potential there, and so I liked that was kind of shown in the movie. I think those are some things. Paul Walter Hauser, was rumored. We've known for a long time he's in this movie. Everybody speculated that he was playing the Mole Man. That was confirmed. He's playing the Mole Man.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Mole Man is like a silly character, as he should be. It's a silly character in the comics, but he does play kind of a key role in part of the plot of this movie, which I thought was funny. And one of the things that didn't work at all, surely that they filmed more of this and it just got cut. I don't know why Natasha Lyonne was in this movie. She's kind of set up to be like the love interest for Ben Grimm for The Thing. But they only have like 1.5 scenes together and nothing's really established. And she's not playing the typical character that we know that Ben Grimm is typically in a relationship with. He's for a long time in the comics, he was with like a blind woman, and that's a whole thing as part of the relationship. She's not that character. She's just like a teacher on Yancey Street, and it's kind of unclear what their relationship really even is other than kind of bumping into each other here and there. I don't know. That did nothing for me. It just feels like there's stuff cut out from there. Although I did like that Ben Grimm, that they made the Yancey Street stuff like a part of his character and went back to that, because that's always something from the comics that we haven't really seen on screen yet. So no, that's just a few thoughts. I am like almost 2 weeks removed from seeing this movie, so it's not like super fresh. I would kind of like to see it again because I've talked to other people that saw it twice and were higher on it on a second go. But my initial walking out of it, I'm like, this is like a 6 or maybe a 7 out of 10 for me. So like again, I'm not saying like this movie was ass because it's not like I think it's solid, but it's just for how much I was anticipating it, I thought it was fine. And again, it's even more surprising that I'm walking out of the summer being like high on Superman because for me, Superman was that 9 out of 10. Like what you were saying, I thought Superman was great.
I also see. I
Um,
agree though. Superman, like I was high on both of them. I thought Superman is saving the DCU. The gunverse is going strong, but Fantastic Four blew my mind. I don't know, like not. It was also like visually incredible. Like when they're going to space, man, that shit was tight.
mhm.
That shit was tight. The whole thing with the black hole. Well, like they got a little funny with how that works and the physics and everything. Whatever, hand wave. It was still cool how they like tried to trap the surfer, and it's like doesn't matter how fast she is when time dial. I don't know. Like I thought that stuff was really tight, and
Yeah.
I guess my favorite parts really did involve Galactus though, because it's that whole journey into space, and then the third act, like you said, is really strong.
Yeah, I think I didn't mean to, and I know I wasn't like necessarily, but like I don't mean to make it like a war where you have to take sides, especially when you have these like fan wars between Marvel and DC,
Yeah.
video game, console wars, all these things. Like people love to take sides, and it's clearly not a thing that with Superman and Fantastic Four, like you have to take a side. There's a lot of people that like both these movies. There's probably people that don't like either of them. Um, it's just like I think because they're 2 weeks apart from each other, like it's hard not to make the comparison,
It is.
especially when both Marvel and DC are kind of there's a lot riding on these movies as far as the future of what they're doing goes. So it's hard not to talk about them in the same breath,
They
but
both have
it's
CG
clearly not
babies.
like one side against the other. Yeah, yeah, true.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, I think that's kind of my thoughts on it. Oh, I did want to talk about one more thing. So this, again, I know we've already spoiled the movie. I do want to talk about one more. Well, we didn't like go through all the plot details, but we spoke about stuff in general. But there is one specific thing I want to talk about from a spoiler standpoint too. So, um, last spoiler warning for the mid credits scene. Um, this for me, I haven't even gotten your opinion on it yet, John. So I'll give my take on it and whatever. But we get this scene where essentially you've got Sue Storm at home with Franklin. It's a few years later, so Franklin
yeah.
has aged up a bit. She goes into the kitchen to grab something, comes back, and there is a man clearly meant to be Doctor Doom in like a green cape kneeling down in front of Franklin, and you see him holding the metal Doom mask, but you cannot see his face. It's all like kind of from the side angle. You just see the mask, the green hood, and so on. Um, Obviously, they've established in this movie that Franklin possesses incredible power as a baby and now as a young child. It's clear that he's going to be a large plot point for Doomsday and what's going on there. To me, this is just it's what Marvel's been doing for the past few years, but this was a mid-credit scene that made me kind of roll my eyes because I just feel like it didn't really give me anything. It's a tease at Doom. It's clear it's not like Robert Downey Jr. was even on set that day. Like you can't see his face. It's just a true Doom tease, but didn't really tell us anything other than kind of showing the mask for a second.
Yeah, nothing
So
really
it
at
kind of
all.
made me, yeah, it kind of made me roll my eyes. And again, I know I just said like it's not a war, but I'm just making the comparison. The end of Superman, we get a tease of Supergirl. And Supergirl is introduced in a scene. We're made aware in the short screen time that she gets, we know that she is the actual owner, keeper of crypto, and it's why crypto has behavioral issues. She comes back drunk because she likes to go party on planets without a red star, as Superman tells us, and gave us a little bit of that character that made me go, yeah, I want to see more of that. Like, I'm
Oh
excited for
yeah,
Supergirl next summer because that seems like it's going to be fun.
that was a good take on
The
her. Yeah.
Doom tease just didn't have that effect for me. It's the opposite. I was just like, ugh, like this didn't give me anything other than it just felt like a cheap pop rather than giving me something, to put it in wrestling terms as I usually do, a cheap pop rather than giving me something of substance or really set something up.
Yeah. Um, I felt, I don't know, Marvel kind of lost its touch with these credit scenes, I feel. Because they don't have the like reputation anymore that they're gonna follow through well. I know Doom's coming, but yeah, it was a bit of an eye roll. It was, I don't know, like why, like they're not even in the right universe, right? And like I know that they're gonna take care of that. Reed was already talking about parallel dimensions. We see them at the end of Thunderbolts, all that good stuff.
That surprised me too. I thought clearly we were going to get them like whatever happens in the Thunderbolts end credit scene was going to be set up here, and it's really not.
Me
Like
too.
we're just left to make the assumption that
I was
we'll see it in
sure.
Doomsday.
I was sure this movie was going to end with them going to another dimension. Um, Maybe because they accidentally sent Galactus there. I don't know, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And yeah, Doctor Doom was kind of weak. They did tease him earlier in the movie when they were at the Future Foundation.
Oh yes, the Latveria
Latveria,
empty seat.
the empty seat at the Latveria table was pretty cool. I felt like that was a good nod.
I liked
Um,
that. I agree. Like that's more of the nod that
it
I
was
think
very
is like.
subtle, and it was like
Uh-huh.
that's cool. I like that. I can get behind that. But yeah, I'm gonna. It was fine. I don't know. I didn't hate that they did that. I just didn't think it was very impactful.
Yeah, I agree. For something that clearly is supposed to get you like hooping and hollering, I just thought it did the opposite for me. It made me
Now
roll my
the
eyes. But
scene
I
where
get
all
it.
the men are trying to put the car seat in the car killed
Oh,
me.
I'm here for that.
I was
Yes.
dying. I was laughing so hard at the theater, dude. I was like, "Oh my god, that's so good." It's like they're all
As somebody that
astronauts.
has moved car seats in and out of cars several
Ugh.
times and still struggle with it sometimes, or you don't understand why it's not working and you're doing one small thing wrong. Yes, I absolutely related to that scene too.
Yeah, it was
Well,
solid.
all that being said, I'm glad that you did really like this movie. It does seem like it's getting a pretty positive fan response for the most part. I've seen some reviews that are kind of mid on it, but I've seen a lot of really positive ones. So this one seems a little bit more divisive, where I feel like Superman was a little bit more like uniformly positive, but there's been a lot of fandom that are coming out behind this movie.
A lot of
I was
people.
disappointed
Yeah.
that I thought it was only fine. And it's why I'm hoping to see it again, and maybe I'll walk out of it being like, you know what, I liked that a lot more the
You want to
second time.
feel what I
That's what I'm
felt.
rooting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I genuinely do.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's a good feeling. Yeah, Superman. I mean, Superman's fantastic. And then the Supergirl stuff, like you were saying, looks really cool. They're definitely having a troubled Supergirl is really exciting because, like, she is older than Superman. That's it's not the most obscure fact that people know, but some people don't know that she is older. She just got sent from Krypton in a weird space accident thing. She arrived after he did, had already grown up. So she's older, which means that unlike Superman, she has an actual sense of the loss of Krypton, and I feel like it makes sense for her to be very troubled. She lost her entire species, and I like what they're doing with this, and I'm really excited. I thought Alcott had the look, and
Hmm.
I think she's gonna nail it.
I agree. I agree. I do think again, we're in a spot where Fantastic Four is out, and we're not getting another MCU movie or even DC movie until next summer. So like June and July, it's Superman and Spider Man, and like overall, I kind of feel like that's a good thing. Like, I'm fine having a year without superhero movies and relying. I mean, granted, there's still huge franchise. Like we're getting a new Avatar movie right in December. Like there's still going to be some huge movies, but it's kind of nice to be like, oh well, we're not in a position to be like, well, Captain America comes out in a couple months, and then there's this a couple months after. Like, no, I'm glad that we just kind of have like an open slate. Um, make room for some other things and see what maybe surprises us by doing well, or what people show up for, like your
Yeah,
Sinners and things like that. Give room for some of those movies to continue to do well.
absolutely. Um, yeah, I think that we talk superheroes to death again because we always do.
I tend
So,
to. I'll go through a couple of these new movies really quick to continue on our movies of the week. I really enjoyed that Fantastic Four discussion for what it's
me
worth, so
too.
thank you for that. I did go see the Naked Gun reboot. This stars Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. Also stars Paul Walter Hauser. So he's in this as well as in Fantastic Four. This is directed by Akiva Schaffer from the Lonely Island Group, who has directed other movies like Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, things like that. So
Solid movie.
I like the Lonely Island sense of humor. I was excited for this. I did rewatch the original Naked Gun movie in preparation for this, which I do find to be a funny movie. This new one I thought was good. It does have like a joke a minute in a true 80s style. I'd have to see it again because there's probably jokes that I missed because there's just so many.
Yeah.
And some of them are really cheesy. It goes for like a true kind of slapsticky humor. But it works, especially because Liam Neeson's mostly like been a serious actor and doing a lot of like action stuff in his older age. So he just has like that dry, serious delivery that really works for this kind of movie. Whereas if you had a comedian, it wouldn't work. It's like you need everything delivered in a serious way. So I overall thought this was pretty fun. So if it just stinks because people are going to see it, but like I saw this in a theater with like 5 other people, and it sure would have been nice to see it in a full theater where everybody's laughing, but it's just hard to get that experience these days.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like that's solid. That's exactly what you want from this kind of movie is the joke a minute, old school, over the top nonsense. Yeah, I would definitely be interested in seeing this.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I also saw The Bad Guys 2. The first Bad Guys movie I thought was a perfectly adequate, fine animated movie. It's like kind of fun, but didn't really leave like a huge dent for me. Looking back, it did surprisingly well at the box office when it came out in 2022. But I wasn't necessarily that excited for the new one. But my 5-year-old likes the first one and was excited for it. This one kind of surprised me. It just kind of did. As an animated sequel, it did everything right. Brought back the core cast, brought back the director, and just upped the stakes in every way. It was bigger scale, bigger heists, and it all really worked. I thought it was actually a pretty fun ride, and I just thought they upped the antics more and in a way that really worked. So I wasn't necessarily that excited for it. Thought it was pretty solid. Not saying it's like the most amazing animated movie of the year by any means, but like it's a good time at the theater, especially if you got kids and you're looking to take them out. I'd recommend it. Are you familiar with The Bad Guys? Did you see the first one, John?
I did not. I am familiar with it though. I remember you
it's
not
like
liking the first one that much.
Yeah, like I thought it was kind of mid, and I thought this one was actually pretty solid. So, Sam Rockwell's the big bad wolf. It's a bunch of bad guys, but of course they're turned good or trying to go good in the second movie. But that's harder than you would think. It's hard to get a job or reestablish yourself in society when all you've done is like rob banks before. And I thought some of that stuff was pretty funny and worked. So there's some clever humor in it. So that's The Bad Guys 2. I'll talk really quickly about Together, which is like a supernatural body horror movie starring Allison Brie and Dave Franco, a real life married couple playing a couple in this movie. Basically,
I knew they were a couple. I did not know they were married.
Yeah, I believe I think they're married. Actually, don't quote me on it. Yeah, married since 2017. So they are.
Wow,
they are
that's a long time. Good for them.
Yeah, so they're in this horror movie together. The premise is like they've been in New York. He's a musician. She's a teacher. They move away from the city, kind of out to the country, and he, kind of trying to work things out. And he's this musician who feels like a little bit boxed in, I think, in their relationship and so on and so forth. That being said, they go on a hike. They get lost in this cave. There's mysterious stuff going on in this cave, and don't drink the water in the cave or else things start happening. And the things that start happening are they find themselves when they are in close proximity starting to basically like stick together to one another. And that, of course, progresses through the movie in lots of fun and gross ways. Whenever they are apart, they feel this irresistible urge to be with one another and all this stuff. And it leads to some pretty fun scenes and some genuinely scary moments in the movie, too. As somebody that watches a lot of horror these days, I think it's rare that I actually feel scared. This movie had some moments that I was like, oh, this is kind of freaky. I thought this was a very promising horror movie from a first-time film director. So the director, Michael Shanks, I had never heard of him before. He's an Australian filmmaker, done some short films, but like, I'm like, okay, like this is now, he's now on my radar. I thought Together was pretty solid. I actually liked it a good amount. So I recommend Together, especially if you're a sicko like me and you like these weird kind of body horror movies and see where they go.
Hell yeah. I can get behind some body horror. Sometimes it's a little much for me, but
I get that.
I still cringe when I think about.
People have issues with it.
I still cringe when I think about Tusk.
Oh yeah, there's some Tuskian moments in this movie for sure.
Ugh.
I did watch Freaky Friday, the 2003 Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan movie. I had never seen it. You have to recognize when this came out, I was a 14-year-old boy, and I said, nope, I'm too cool and too straight for that. And, as 14-year-old boys tend to do. I did watch this now, though, that I'm in my 30s, and I thought it was pretty fun. Right, and exactly. I thought it was pretty fun. It has some cheese to it. I can see why this resonated with people our age and why people have nostalgia for this. And
I remember watching this movie back in the day. It was pretty solid. It wasn't like the best movie ever, but it's an interesting
definitely
concept.
An interesting one that people really like banded together to be like, we need Freakier Friday. Give us a sequel. It's like, all right, if that's what you want. And but they did it.
Yeah.
So I watched a behind the scenes interview with Jamie Lee Curtis where she said, of all the press tours and everything she's done, she hasn't been asked a question more than, are you doing a Freaky Friday sequel? So when they were finally doing it, she said it was like the biggest reaction she's gotten to anything she's done. And this is an Oscar-winning actress. So
that's pretty funny.
Funny.
Oh yeah, for Everything Everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, but now I'm prepared to see the sequel. I do plan to try and catch it at some point. Let's talk Happy Gilmore 2.
I like how dumb that.
Did you watch this, John?
Yes, I did. I mean, it was on Netflix. Why not? I really like the original. I used to watch it all the time. Yeah, I gave this a shot.
And you loved it?
All right. So, it's fine. They brought original cast back. Pretty much everybody that they could came back. I mean, the only people that aren't here are dead that I can remember.
Yep.
I mean, solid. That's solid. I don't know. There were some decent story moments. The choices with the alcoholism, the loss, and all this other stuff. That was good. His kids are dumb, and that's kind of funny. I'm okay with that a little bit. All in all, this movie.
One of his kids portrayed by MJF, who's a very prominent AEW wrestler.
Ah, nice.
A former AEW world champion.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just. It wasn't good, Drew.
Oh, I'm 1,000% with you.
It wasn't.
I think that this is barely a movie.
It is barely a movie. I mean, the whole the super golfers thing is so stupid.
Like as a movie, structurally, this is like maybe atrocity is being like too hyperbolic, but it's pretty bad. But I'm with you. But I didn't hate it. I mean, I knew getting into this exactly what it was going to be, right? I knew it was going to be cameo after cameo after cameo. It was probably even more cameos than I expected. The golf tournament layout of it works for that. It's an easy way to get a bunch of people in your movie, and I always have respected what Adam Sandler's doing in his latter career. Now that he's been doing his Netflix deal for several years, it's clear he's just like, I just want to make movies with my friends,
Yeah.
with my family, with my daughters, with my wife, and I respect that. And so it doesn't bother me at all that like it's just him and his friends. There's a lot more of his friends in this. There's so many professional golfers, but there's so many just famous people in general that are in this. And so I enjoyed watching it, even though it felt more like watching like a TikTok compilation or something. You know what I mean? Like that's what it felt like, or a YouTube compilation more than a film. But and I don't even know if any of the humor was like particularly funny.
It wasn't particularly funny. It was just, I mean, like, honestly, like, most of the humor came from the absurdity of what was going on. It was absurd. It was ridiculous. I mean, all right, like, I understand Happy Gilmore was a comedy, but, like, pretty much all of it was, like, reasonable. Like, yeah, he can hit the golf ball like a freak. Fine. That's fine. Like, one guy can do that. Okay, whatever. He drives really well. But removing like a ligament in your hip that allows you to rotate a few extra degrees, thus becoming unbeatable in golf, ridiculous. It's just so. I mean,
I think it's just a hilarious choice of making like Haley Joel Osment kind of one of your main villains.
The Ultimate Warrior.
Also,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Haley Joel Osment was a funny choice. Watching him do that ridiculous, like, twist ratchet to hit the ball is really funny. This movie, I don't know. It's not a good movie, but it's on Netflix, so, I mean, it's definitely a great way to kill an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever, so.
Benny Safdie as well, who has directed Sandler in Uncut Gems, and is in this as kind of the creator of what's this terrible golf thing called? It's Maxi Golf.
Is that who that guy is? That's funny.
Yeah. It's
what a weird looking feller.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was worth bringing it up because it is obviously one of the most popular things on Netflix right now. It is very silly. I don't think it necessarily, those that have a lot of nostalgia for the original, I don't think it really ruins any of that. It's just kind of its own weird thing.
It's pretty dumb.
Yeah, it is pretty dumb.
It's pretty dumb. Well, that's it for movies, and what a way to end movies. But hey, there's also TV this week. What you been watching, Drew? Looks like you got quite a bit.
There's a couple things here. I'll start with the things that we don't overlap on first. I did watch this new season of Hard Knocks, premiered last night. I always talk about this every year because I always enjoy watching it. I look forward to it during training camp time of NFL football. And the current season of Hard Knocks on HBO is focusing on the Buffalo Bills. And so the first episode premiered last night as of this recording, and it was fine. Like, it wasn't the most exciting of Hard Knocks premieres, but the Bills are just a pretty solid team who have just come really close, but not made it all the way to the Super Bowl for several seasons in a row. And so it's a lot of focus on that and what they're trying to achieve. But there's not like a crazy amount of drama or like huge characters on this team. But it doesn't matter. Like, I just vibe with Hard Knocks so much and love what it does. And so I'll continue watching this season. So that's Hard Knocks.
Cool.
WWE Unreal is a series that is on Netflix now. There's 5 episodes. This is a kind of behind the scenes documentary series of the WWE and the creative process that is, it's a smart move on their part, I think. Obviously, WWE Raw is airing on Netflix now. WWE and Netflix have a pretty big partnership in the works. So they partnered together. There's a lot of production budget here, and they're lifting the curtain and showing what all's going on with WWE, especially in the world now where wrestling fans are very online. They're very in the know of what's going on. It's kind of hard to surprise them. So it makes sense now to like just show us. Just show us these wrestlers. It's got the type of thing where like CM Punk will do an interview and he'll be like, most people know me as CM Punk. I've also gone by this. I've also gone by this. I've also gone by this. But my legal name is Phil Brooks. And he's doing like interviews from the perspective of Phil and not from CM Punk. And a lot of these wrestlers are doing that. Like you're getting their names, who they are. That being said, I think that there's some really cool stuff in this. It still kind of feels like a performance in a way. Like they are showing you things, but like everybody knows they're on camera. It still feels like they're kind of picking and choosing what they show. But still, it's like it's pretty fun for wrestling fans, I think, to see this stuff. And WWE's documentary stuff is always just looks so good and is so clean, and it continues that. And each episode kind of focuses on a couple of different wrestlers and where they're at. Like the first episode, you get a lot of Rhea Ripley and CM Punk and John Cena. The second episode, you get a lot of like Jey Uso. The third episode, you're getting Charlotte Flair and Chelsea Green, like a few other people. So like I like that it's focusing on different people and seeing people that are in different levels of WWE. It's not all like your main eventers and stuff. So I just recommend it if you like this kind of stuff. It's like a fun documentary. I think there's only 5 episodes and it's on Netflix.
It's pretty cool.
Let's talk about some of these other streaming shows that are kind of still in the process of coming out. I didn't realize when Twitsted Metal Season 2 dropped last week that it only dropped the first 3 episodes. I thought it was the full season. So when I saw that there were 3 30-minute episodes to watch, I was relieved. I was like, oh, I'll watch season 2 now. Because like if it was all 10 episodes, I was going to be knocking them out very slowly.
Yeah.
But I do feel like now knowing that, I think that there's 3 now, tomorrow 2 more drop. And then it's like, I think it's 2 per week until the end of the season. But I watched the premiere of it, and I feel like when Twitsted Metal came out, we were like the only ones talking about it.
Yeah.
Here on our podcast. And I was almost surprised that it got renewed for season 2. I do feel like there's a little bit more buzz around this season in general. I'm seeing it advertised more. And I watched the premiere and I was like, oh yeah, that's why I liked this show. That's kind of how I felt about it. Like it's silly humor. There's some dumb stuff, but like
really
you get a good amount of sweet tooth. It is. It's good. I felt like it was like a good reminder of why I binged the first season the way I did. I liked it. Have you watched all 3 of these episodes?
I've watched all 3 episodes. Yeah, absolutely. The first episode absolutely reminds you of what you're doing here. It's got the over the top violence that you love. The humor's great. I've never liked Anthony Mackie in anything more than I like him in this. I think he nails the role, man. He's so good at this level of humor. Like it's just so silly. Him with his laying on his stomach with his feet kicked up, like kicking his feet, reading The Babysitter's Club. Excellent.
Loved everything about that.
Excellent. It's so good. I don't know, but he nails that character. Not saying, I mean, it's
the Babysitter's Club gag almost goes on a little bit too long, but like it works because
it's really funny.
Like it's in a good way. Like I like that it went on for as long as it did.
They keep bringing it up. Yeah, the stuff with the dolls is really cool. The first episode is fantastic. If you haven't seen Twitsted Metal, go watch it. Season 2 starts off. That episode's fire, dude. When they get to the scene where they're driving again and the dolls are on that car carrier blasting DMX, it was such a cool scene, man. It was awesome. That was like one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. And then it doesn't slow down from there. We get to see some really cool characters that I've been dying to see, namely Axel, who was the one I always picked when I was playing Twitsted Metal, was Axel. And yeah, we get more Sweet Tooth. He's up to hilarious stuff. The whole Big Baby thing is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I did appreciate Big Baby.
Big Baby was ridiculous, and I am so happy it happened. And then, I don't know, just the whole thing, it went really well. All the stuff with, like, they're bringing Calypso in. there's almost this, I don't know, the stuff with Grimm is really funny. Just like
The,
all the
the
characters are so well designed. It's just so fire.
the premiere of it really took me back to a place too, because there's a montage in this movie that's set to the song Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz.
Mhm.
And if you think about it, the way that my brain clicked, the Twisted Metal game that I really played a lot of, that like I really vibed with, was Twisted Metal Black, which
Mhm.
came out for the PS2. And I'm looking, and it came out here in June of 2001, right? And Gary, I think, had it, or Gary and I played a lot of Twisted Metal Black together. Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz came out in March of 2001, so like just a couple months before then. So like that was such a specific time in my life in like junior high school, where we were probably playing that game, Twisted Metal, and listening to the Gorillaz album. So like hearing that song in this show, like in the context of Twisted Metal, something about that just like clicked for me. It took me back to a place of
Yeah.
like my junior high days playing a PS2 in the early days of it, in a way that, a nostalgic way that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I don't know. That's another thing they do really well in this. They nail the 90s and early 2000s so hard. Like they nail their era very well. And yeah, I really enjoy. I like the other thing they brought back. They're still doing is the flashbacks for all the characters. Like they're showing character backstories left and right, and they're all great. They're all so good. The tarot card thing was great. The thing with Grimm was unsettling. Dollface's backstory was pretty good. I don't know, man. They got me. They got me back. And then the jokes at the drive-in about the racism, I was rolling, dude. that it was so funny. But yeah, I really Twisted Metal season 2. It looks like it's gonna be good. Um, Anthony Mackie and Stephanie. What's her name?
Beatrice.
Stephanie Beatrice are fantastic together. Everyone should see this show. I don't know why you wouldn't watch it, honestly. Like, what more? They can't do more. There's sex,
And
there's violence, there's over the top action. Like, it's everything you want.
It's a bigger budget, and it's like a bigger premise than something like Cobra Kai, which I've talked about recently as somebody that's been more recently diving into that show. But I only make the comparison of like 30-minute episodes, super easy to digest, super watchable. It's that. Like, yeah, you can binge through this, and it's funny and it's enjoyable, and there's some good action. I mean, there was a scene in the first episode where the doll faces blow up like an ambulance, and the ambulance like blows up and rolls on the highway. And I was like, it was practical. You could tell, like, they really blew up this ambulance in this scene. Like, so they're doing some real.
Yeah,
vehicle
the ambulance
stuff.
looked real good blowing up, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah,
So cool.
I'm looking forward to watching it, and I'm glad that they're not dropping it all at once. I like the spaced out releases of episodes, which
This is my
I'm going to talk
preferred.
about in the next show too.
This is my preferred method as well. Yeah, I'm okay with 2 or 3 in the jump, but then I just want one a week. I don't have time to watch 10 episodes in a night so some asshole online doesn't spoil anything for me. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that shit.
Yeah, agreed. Well, Wednesday season 2. This is obviously a huge show for Netflix. The first season of Wednesday was a mega hit for them, and we potted about it at the time that it came out. It came out in 2022.
I was really
You
high
and
on
Gary
it.
actually watched it first and spoke really highly of Wednesday, and then I was kind of late to the party, but ended up really enjoying it. And season 2 is finally here, and they're releasing it in the way that Netflix is kind of experimenting with. It's being released in a part 1 and part 2. So they dropped 4 episodes today, and they're dropping the last 4 episodes at the beginning of September. So it's not that long to wait. But all the episodes that drop today are about an hour or a little less than an hour in length, so it's not like anything crazy. I did have some time this afternoon to watch just the first episode of season 2. So I haven't watched all 4, but I watched the first one, and that was pretty good. It's starting up a new storyline, a new mystery. The thing that I like about this show, or that it took me back, and I know we just kind of had a similar conversation with Twisted Metal, when you're revisiting a show that you're a couple of years removed from and you're jumping back into this world, is you're like, oh yeah, I just kind of like the environment that this movie puts me in. I like the style. I like the Nevermore Academy. Yeah. I the kind of like Hogwarts-esque feel of this like school for misfits, but it's really a little bit more vague. It's like they're all just kind of a bunch of weirdos at a school together, and I like that.
Yeah, they're just kind of goth kids, and then like an occasional werewolf.
Yep. Pugsley, the younger brother, seems to have a bigger role in this season because he's attending the academy as well.
Oh, okay.
Seems like Morticia is maybe having a bigger role in this season. And then also a welcome addition, as far as I'm concerned, the new headmaster, principal, or whatever it is of the school is played by Steve Buscemi in the show.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
Yeah, and he's playing very funny and over the top. So the first premiere, it opens really strong too, with a scene involving a serial killer played by Haley Joel Osment once again. So again, these guys, I feel like you work on one Netflix show, you get a relationship with them. All of a sudden you're in Happy Gilmore too. Also, Haley Joel Osment, it just also cracks me up as the once like cute child actor who, saw dead people. Now he's an adult man, and he's like a huskier man, and he has just kind of embraced like being this silly character actor. And I really appreciate that about him in a way. Like when Haley Joel Osment pops up in Happy Gilmore, when he pops up in Wednesday, I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it. He's in The Boys the first season. I don't know if he's in it any more than that. He shows up in some of these shows. He is in Tusk. So yeah, it's just the opening scene for Wednesday. Really, I was like, oh yeah, I am vibing with this. Jenna Ortega is great. So yeah, if you liked the first season, it really seems like it's going to be more of that. But I'm just saying that having only watched the first episode.
I did like the first season. I'm all in, man. It sounds like everything I'm hoping for, so I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. The only other one we have on the list is South Park. In a way, I don't want to spend too much time on it because everything that there is to say about this first episode of South Park is out there. If you talk about making an impact.
Did we not talk about this before?
No, we recorded our last episode on the night that it came on. So
okay.
We literally recorded, and then I went and watched the episode and was just like, oh my God, how did we, we almost should have waited till the next day. Talking about it. So there's a new episode actually as of right now. A second episode has aired. So I'll be watching that tonight probably.
That first episode shocked the world. And it made the White House comment. That's pretty crazy, man.
But do you expect anything less?
No, I mean, of course, yeah, of course. I mean, honestly, I kind of was. I was kind of surprised at how far they went. They went for it. And if you haven't seen
the AI ad at the end is just something to behold.
The deep fake of naked Donald Trump and his tiny penis hiking it through the desert. Yeah, that's insane that they did that and that they seem to be getting away with it. I'm not saying they shouldn't get away with it. I'm fine with what they did. It's hilarious, but still, you're I don't know how they're getting away with that.
After watching it, I watched it on my own, and I did what any married man would do. The next day, I'm telling my wife, you just have to see what they did, dear. You got to check it out. And the irony of it is that she was like, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble just for having this on my TV. The joke in the show is Trump threatening to sue everybody. I'm going to sue you. And that's how she felt. Just I feel like we're just going to get sued for having this on our TV. We're going to get in trouble for it. and I thought it was very funny, a funny reaction.
Everyone, even people that don't watch South Park, watched it. My mom heard about this episode and desperately wanted to see it. So like, it broke the confines of the South Park viewership a lot, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's good for them. Fight the power. That's all I got to say. But
Yep.
yeah,
Agreed.
that's it for Fresh
Looking
TV.
forward to the next episode.
Looking forward to the next episode. We're gonna move on before we get sued. Hey, True, you want to talk about some fresh games? We got a little bit this week, not too much.
We did an in-depth review of Donkey Kong Bonanza. I put many more hours into that game after we talked about it, and I can happily say that I 100%ed this game. I could not put it down. Every spare moment I had was spent playing it until I completed it. I beat the game. I went back and got all the post-game bananas. I officially collected 777 Banandium gems, whatever they're called in the game. I collected every fossil in all the levels. I loved every minute with the game, and I'm so happy to have played it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I put it down to because I want to be able to talk about lots of stuff. I just don't have as much time in the game as I used to, but I'm really looking forward to getting to play more. It's such a good game.
It's also worth noting I took a week off work because I had PTO to burn, so I had a lot of downtime. So
That's
it's
fair.
not like it's like a cheat code. I had an advantage.
That's fair. Well, you're also inhuman.
It depends. I don't necessarily have an addictive personality, but with certain games, when they get their hooks in me, with games specifically, I'm like, yes. I'm not a big TV
No.
show binger, but I am a video game binger. If you get something I really like, I want to play it to completion as soon as possible.
If someone asks me who do you know that's 100% of the most games, it's you without a doubt. Like, it's definitely you. Like, I can count on one hand the games I've done that with, and probably one finger. I really don't do it that often. You're a wild man, and I appreciate that about you.
Yeah, if Donkey Kong Bonanza had achievements or trophies, I would have the platinum. I would have 1,000 out of 1,000. I don't know what more I could have done. And now, as I have set that game down, the game that I have gone to next is Dragon Quest III. It's an HD 2D remake, so this came out I think either the beginning of this year or end of last year. Dragon Quest III, it's an old like kind of 16-bit SNES era RPG. They made this HD 2D remake. The backgrounds are really pretty. It still uses like the sprite type characters, but they've just made a lot of improvements to make it play really well now. Battles can be sped up, and they've changed a few things, but this has been my palate cleanser from Donkey Kong. That's like an old school JRPG kind of 16-bit era game that I can play, and I'm really enjoying it, but it is not the equivalent of like a video game binge for me, which is nice. Like I can sit and play it for a little bit and grind a little bit and then move on to something else. So it's been nice to be able to catch up on like shows and movies while also having this game that I can just kind of cozily play when I want to. So that's what I've moved on in my post Donkey Kong Bonanza era until I don't even know what. I don't know what the next big game is that I'm really looking forward to. I'm kind of interested in the new Mafia game that comes out later this week if it reviews well. I'm kind of interested in the Kirby and the Forgotten Land kind of like Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade stuff they're releasing in late August because I didn't play that game on the Switch 1.
Yeah, me neither.
It's like I don't know where I'm gonna go from here. I'm kind of just going through the backlog. They just put Cyberpunk out on the PS Plus library. I played it on Xbox. I'm kind of interested in revisiting it on PlayStation and trying to platinum it again. I don't know. It's kind of nice in a way. It's like I don't have something that's super pressing.
Yeah, you don't have a monkey on your back. I feel you. Yeah, I mean, the game that I have to play is Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I have made some room to explore the Game Pass offerings because I do love free games. And this one in particular was one that you said was really fun. So I was like, hey, this is free. I'm going to play it. So RoboCop Rogue City, I downloaded it. I started playing it. I was fine. It was fine. I'm shooting people. It's pretty cool. But then you get into the cop stuff. You get to the precinct. You're dealing with people's grievances at the counter. You're writing people parking tickets. The game has a lot more to it than just run and gun, which I feel really saves it a lot. The gun action is pretty solid. You're definitely an overpowered monster that can murder everything, which is, in a lot of ways, is very fun. The RPG elements make it pretty interesting. You can really customize your service weapon, and you can level up your skills and stuff. Some of them open up dialogue options. Some of them give you more armor. It's pretty cool, and yeah, this is a game that's originally just $40 anyways, I think. It's not a full price game, but it is free on Game Pass right now. The storyline is pretty cool. And, like, I'm aware of RoboCop. I've seen, like, the remake. I feel like I've seen clips from the originals. But I know that they have the original guy's face on this guy. I don't know if he voiced it, but it sounds just like him. And I feel like this is a very, very faithful, what do you call it? Game. A faithful creation of the RoboCop universe in game form. I'm pretty impressed with it. It's definitely not Game of the Year or anything. It's a solid, fun game. If you have Game Pass, there's no reason not to give it a shot. It's pretty fun. It has some glitchy stuff. It has some graphical issues. A lot of people
kind of going along with that. I feel like one of the things I liked about it is that it feels like now every game is either AAA big budget or indie.
Yeah.
And this game feels like those more AA kind of games that used to come out all the time that you'd play and you'd be like, oh, that was okay. It's like, there's a little bit of nostalgia to it in that way. It's like, yeah, it's kind of glitchy at times, but it overall mostly works. The graphics are never amazing, but it's fun enough. Like, I don't know. I like those kinds of games.
Me too. And like, I'm having a lot of fun with this. It's a pretty solid game. For all its flaws and stuff, the gameplay is solid. And this is a great example of how gameplay is obviously the most important thing in a game. If you have good gameplay, the rest of it is secondary. And yeah, it's pretty fun game. You get to do some investigations and stuff. I'm having a good time with it. I'm playing it pretty much anytime I have free time. But I also tried another game. I don't know if you were a fan of the game Grounded by Obsidian Games. It is a survival game in which you are teenagers that have been Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in the backyard of a mad scientist. And you have to survive, you have to fight ants, you have to gather food, water, build bases. It's your typical survival game. I played the shit out of it.
It's not my favorite genre in general. I remember dabbling with it when the first Grounded came out, and I was like, okay, I get it. This is not what screams fun to me. So I didn't play around with it that much.
Yeah, it can be kind of.
It was also an early game preview.
It was an early game preview. When it first came out, there wasn't a lot going on. They kept adding stuff, and it got really good. They added a lot of stuff. The game is fully released at this point, obviously. It's a solid game. I do enjoy survival games. They do get old sometimes. Grounded, I feel, is one of the better ones. Grounded 2 just dropped on Game Pass in early access. And I got a buddy of mine, my friend Alan. We played the first one together. We immediately started playing this one. They added something really cool to this one. Shared worlds. So in the other one, you make a world, you can invite people to it, they can come play, or you can go play in theirs, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm not online, my friend can't come into my game. In this one, you can create a shared world in which it doesn't matter who's online, you can all go in and play. And when your friends get online, they can join your world. So
that's cool.
That's huge. That's a huge fix for something that typically requires the use of private servers and real money. This is a huge quality of life improvement. They added a lot of stuff. Long story short, you're shrunken again. This time, instead of being in a backyard, you're in a giant park. And there are insects everywhere. They've added so many different types. And you have the ability now to breed and mount insects. So you can ride them. And man, riding an ant across a backyard, like when it's galloping, is really fun. So, like, they've added a lot to this game. They've really fleshed things out. They fleshed out their lore. They've made a lot of quality of life improvements. If you enjoyed Grounded 1, this is a fantastic sequel so far. So far, so good. I like what they're doing. And if you haven't played it, this might be a good place to start because it is better. You know what I mean? But yeah, Grounded 2. Absolutely very fun. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. And it's really cool to get to do that. You know what I mean? To be little, crawl around inside computers and like grass and stuff. It's fun stuff, man. It's fun stuff. That's it for fresh games for me. And I think that's it for fresh games from both of us.
Yeah, we went through a lot of different stuff.
We went through so much stuff. The podcast went a little long, which is fine. We had some good talks. All that's left is our fresh picks of the week. What stood out to you this week, Drew?
I don't feel comfortable saying like Twisted Metal or Wednesday when I've only watched an episode each. So I think I'm actually going to say Together. The body horror film with Alison Brie and Dave Franco. It was a very pleasant surprise for me at the theater. I enjoyed it a lot. I am a sicko though, and I like these kinds of movies, so that's worth noting. But I think it was just really solid in a way that I wasn't expecting, and so I recommend it. It's my fresh pick of the week. Together.
Excellent. Yeah, it does look really good. I like both those people. I'm almost comfortable saying Twisted Metal because I really like that show. But I'm gonna go ahead and say Fantastic Four. I'm very high on Fantastic Four First Steps. It blew my expectations out of the water. If you haven't seen it, it's really solid. Even if you don't like the Fantastic Four, I think this can change your mind about that. Go see it in theaters. But yeah, I guess that's it for this week of Fresh Out the Podcast. Thanks everyone for listening. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too, talking to my buddy Drew. But I've been the board game guru and game master extraordinaire, Jahananan.
And I'm the professional media and movie mastermind, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen. And this has been episode 157 of Fresh Out the Podcast.
Stay fresh.